Welcome to General Chemistry 1. This outline will help you see the types of information that you're going to be learning this week and help you organize it in your head a little bit ahead of time. The left side represents information in Part 1, and the right side represents information in Part 2. So in Part 1, you're going to be looking at liquid properties and IMFs, which are intermolecular forces. Specifically, you'll see these 5 different properties of a liquid, and you'll see how having more intermolecular forces causes the boiling points to naturally fall higher and the freezing points to naturally fall higher, etc., etc. But you'll also learn that this property right here will decrease the more forces there are, and you'll see why. Then you'll notice a phase diagram right here. You'll learn about what these different lines mean and what it means to change positions. You'll also learn about these specific points on that diagram. And then finally, you're going to learn about the specific 3 intermolecular forces. You'll also learn about the ionic force. But these forces right here are hydrogen bonding, and that's what you're going to see. It's hydrogen specifically within O or F. Dipole-dipole happens in molecules that have a partial positive or a partial negative on them. That's for the polar molecules. And then you'll learn about London dispersion, which has to do with just random electron distributions, making one side of the molecule temporarily kind of electron rich for a moment, and then it stops being that way. In Part 2, you'll learn about this diagram over here. You'll learn about these 2 equations. One of them should already look familiar, but you'll learn how to use them, and you'll learn how some of the time you'll be using this equation, and other parts of the time you'll be using this equation. And then you'll learn about adding them together and making sure that your units stay consistent. And then finally, you'll be looking at reminders of how to work with natural logs. There's this identity right here, and if you can set up something to look like that, those 2 cancel. Or if you can set it up to look like that, those 2 cancel, and you end up with just x. So learn about that. And finally, you'll learn about using this equation that has a lot of different pieces to it. And you'll practice solving for this or for this. You'll also learn about R and which R to use, and it'll be the 8.314R.